Hello and welcome to the Louisville and Kentucky Area Artists Podcast number 12, Part 2. This will be a continuation of the last podcast featuring the records of our local singer-songwriter Big Bill Johnson. Let's begin this episode with a couple of Bill's protest songs. The first is called Please Don't Close Durrett Down, released in 1981, which was written by Bill and his daughter Vicki. The story goes that Vicki was attending Durrett High School and wanted to graduate from there, but wouldn't be able to if the school board closed it down because of a budget cut. We all know how that turned out. The second protest song is called Set Lieutenant Callie Free from 1967. If you remember, Lieutenant Callie was a former United States Army officer convicted by court-martial of murdering 22 unarmed South Vietnamese civilians in the My Lai massacre during the Vietnam War.
Please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Unbend the knees. Don't close Durrett down. Durrett is important to our community. Why you'd want to close it down makes no sense to me. The spirit at Durrett is the strongest to be found. You're gonna make the demon mad if you close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Unbend the knees, we're begging, please don't close Durrett down. Talk of closing Durrett makes the demon fighting mad. When you stir up the demon, you're stirring something bad. You're just about to get a taste of that demon power. You ain't seen nothing till you've seen that demon breathing fire. Please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Unbend the knees, we're begging, please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Unbend the knees, we're begging, please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Unbend the knees, we're begging, please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Unbend the knees, we're begging, please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Unbend the knees, we're begging, please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Please don't close Durrett down. Unbend the knees, we're begging, please don't close Durrett down. We're a sick, sick, sick society. We've nailed Lieutenant Callie to a tree. We're a sick, sick, sick society. If we don't set Lieutenant Callie free, we Americans are tired of a war that can't be won, where a soldier's charged with murder if he uses his gun. We never want to see another soldier crucified. Lieutenant Callie done his job and he was charged and tried. We're a sick, sick, sick society. We've nailed Lieutenant Callie to a tree. We're a sick, sick, sick society. If we don't set Lieutenant Callie free, they sent Lieutenant Callie to the village of My Lai. He carried out his orders and he never once asked why. He was treated like a criminal and was brought to trial. The jury found him guilty and America went wild. We're a sick, sick, sick society. We've nailed Lieutenant Tally to a tree. We're a sick, sick, sick society. If we don't set Lieutenant Tally free. What about the Americans who died in Vietnam? Who's the military gonna charge for murdering them? For somebody is responsible for taking their lives. For unanswered prayers of broken-hearted mothers and wives. We're a sick, sick, sick society. We've nailed Lieutenant Tally to a tree. We're a sick, sick, sick society. If we don't set Lieutenant Tally free. We're a sick, sick, sick society. We've nailed Lieutenant Tally to a tree. Where was Moses when the lights went out? Down in the cellar eating sauerkraut. Wasn't that a crazy thing to do? I'd have been somewhere up pitching wood, pitching wood, pitching wood. Two old maids was laying in bed. One turned over and the other one said, Sister, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to be a pitching wood, pitching wood, pitching wood. Now a prisoner locked behind bars looks Louisville at the moon and stars. Bet I know what he'd like to do, be beneath that moon a pitching wood, pitching wood, pitching wood. But a sailor's life was not for me. Nights on the ocean were too blue, and there were no gals for pitching wood, pitching wood, pitching wood. I had a day with the gal last night, and her kisses were like dynamite. I knew that before the night was through, that would be somewhere a pitching wood, pitching wood. There's a bachelor next door to me. He's just as crazy as he can be. He wouldn't stay single if he knew that there's lots of fun of pitching wood, pitching wood, pitching wood, pitching wood, pitching wood, pitching wood.
The last song we heard was Pitchin' Woo from 1967 and is on the flip side of Set Lieutenant Tally Free. These next two cuts are completely different from any of Big Bill's other records in that he doesn't sing but rather talks his way through them. Well, you'll see what I mean. The first one is called Dear Ann and is about a letter written to Ann Landers. The second one is called For the Children's Sake. The record was released on the Music Mountain record label out of Lebanon Junction, Kentucky. The date is unknown, but probably early to mid-1970s.
Dear Ann, I read your column in the paper every day. I just can't hardly wait to see what you've got to say. Most of the time, I agree with the advice you give. You sure have a way of telling people how to live. I never dreamed I'd have to write to you, dear Ann. But here I am tonight with pen and paper in hand. My trouble started a few months ago when I got me a bride. For a while life was heaven with her by my side. But overnight she began changing, started treating me cool. When I tried to hug and kiss her, she'd call me a fool. I don't like this being married to a woman cold as ice. That's why I'm writing to you, dear Ann. I need your advice. Here's something else, dear Ann, that's been bothering me. When I lived alone, I hardly ever had any company. But here lately, all the guys been hanging around here. Some of them I hadn't seen in over a year. And that big Bill Masden, who lives down by the creek, here lately, he's been stopping by 3 or 4 times a week. Comes by with his guitar and a jug from his steel. It used to be months on end I never saw a big Bill. I'm ashamed of myself being suspicious of my little bride. But dear Ann, do you think there might be something she's trying to hide? And dear Ann, I want to tell you about our phone. Most of the time when she's on it, she talks in a real low tone. And she always hangs up when I come walking through the door. I'll tell you the truth, dear Ann, I just can't take much more. When the phone rings and I answer, wrong number, they always say. But how many wrong numbers can you get in a day? Dear Ann, do you think there could be something wrong? Or do you think I ought to get another phone? As you can see, dear Ann, I need your advice desperately. I'm sure glad there's people like you to help people like me. When you read this letter, I'm sure you'll understand that I'm anxiously waiting to hear from you, dear Ann. Signed, Hurtin' for Certain. Please don't judge me too quickly when you hear this song. Listen to all the words, and you'll know I'm not wrong. I'm a divorced man with children, and I really love them dear. I'd gladly give my life for them, but it makes me sick every time I hear. You should have stayed together for the children's sake. So many people are making this mistake. They've stopped loving one another. They're not even as close as sister and brother, just simply staying together for the children's sake. But what about the children? Don't you think that they can tell? This kind of life for them is nothing more than a living hell. They pray for mom and daddy in hopes that they'll awake and stop staying together for the children's sake. If you have a family, you should try to get along. But if you're fighting all the time, by your children, you're doing wrong. It's really the children you're hurting, and it's their hearts you'll break if all you're doing is staying together for the children's sake. You ought to take time out to visit the institutions and prisons of our land. Talk to some of the people there, and soon you'd understand that it's not society they blame for their mistakes. They blame their parents for staying together for the children's sake. In the closing words of this song, I would like to say, I believe in marriage and happy homes, and I've always felt this way. If you think I'm cold and bitter, you're making a big mistake. I just don't believe in ruining children's lives by staying together for their sake.
This next record is also different from any of Big Bill's other records in that he's singing with some young ladies called the Haycraft Sisters. It adds a whole new dimension to his usual style of singing, and I love it. I just wish he had cut more records with them. The songs are Silver Queen and We Can't Say Hello, released in 1965.
Riding, riding, riding. Ride that silver queen.
There's a train that's Dixie bound. It's taking me far from this town,
riding, riding,
over mountains high
riding, riding,
and valleys green.
riding, riding,
I'm gonna ride,
that silver queen.
gonna leave
Gonna leave
that low-down girl.
low down girl.
She broke my heart
Broke his
and
heart,
ruined my world.
ruined his world.
I was too blind
Was too blind,
and couldn't see
couldn't see
a cheating game. She played with me, that silver queen, gonna carry me far away from my misery. Silver queen, put me down the line. Silver queen, he's nowhere in mine. Engineer,
engineer,
burn up the rail,
up the rail,
make that whistle moan and wail. Move this train
move this train
on down the track.
down the track.
Tell them all I'm coming back. That silver queen
Riding, riding,
is taking me
riding,
where
riding,
hearts are gay
riding, riding,
and friends are free,
riding,
where
riding,
church bells ring
riding, riding,
on Sunday morn.
riding, riding,
Back to the place where I was born. That silver queen gonna carry me far away from my misery. Silver queen, move me down the line. Silver queen, he's nowhere in mine.
Oh, we can't say hello till we say goodbye to the ones that we're tied to. We'll just have to meet on some deserted street till we are free to love anew.
I've been loving you for such a long, long time. I've been waiting so long, darling, for you to be mine.
But we can't say hello till we say goodbye, till we can be together all the time. I keep counting the hours till you're back in my arms, till I kiss your sweet lips again. If our love is wrong, we'll have to pay the price. May God forgive us for our sins.
I've been loving you for such a long, long time. I've been waiting so long, darling, for you to be mine.
But we can't say hello till we say goodbye, till we can be together all the time.
We have 145 RPM record left on this special Big Bill Johnson episode. The first song is called The House Where I Used to Live and is probably about his house in the Highland Park neighborhood where he lived for many years. The last song on the show is one of my favorites called The Jefferson County Jail, about Hobo Bill getting locked up. The record was released in 1967. Well, that's it for part 2 of the special Big Bill Johnson episodes. We'll be back next time, continuing with the J artists. Have a great day.
I walked down the street today, past the house where I used to live. I saw a little girl at play at the house where I used to live. She used to sit on Daddy's knee. I worshipped her and she did me. Oh, how I miss my family and the house where I used to live. And I saw another man at the house where I used to live. I used to think he was my friend at the house where I used to live. I used to think that it was me that he was dropping in to see. He stole my wife and family in the house where I used to live. I wonder how he sleeps at night at the house where I used to live. His conscience knows he has no right at the house where I used to live. But there's one thing he'll never find, true happiness and peace of mind, till he gets back what should be mine at the house where I used to live. They took me off a freight train in the town of Louisville. They asked me what my name was and I told them Hobo Bill. They took me off a freight train in the town of Louisville, locked me up in the Jefferson County Jail. I'm reading a newspaper that's turning yellow with age, but I'm reading every word that's written on every page. I'm reading a newspaper that's turning yellow with age. There's no TV in the Jefferson County Jail. Every morning at 4:30, they make us rise and shine. They give us cold black coffee that tastes like iodine. Every morning at 4:30, they make us rise and shine. Can't sleep late in the Jefferson County Jail. I'm looking out my window at a street named Liberty. Just looking down at that old street reminds me I'm not free. I'm looking out my window at a street named Liberty, through these bars at the Jefferson County Jail. Now at the commissary there's lots of good things to eat, but someone stole my money and the shoes from my feet. Now at the commissary there's lots of good things to eat, but don't give credit at the Jefferson County Jail. I wrote my love a letter saying come and get me home. I'm locked up in this jailhouse and I ain't having no fun. I wrote my love a letter saying come and get me, hun. Get me out of the Jefferson County Jail. I'm crazy about Kentucky and I still like Louisville, but I don't like this jailhouse that's a holding Hobo Bill. I'm crazy about Kentucky and I still like Louisville, but I don't like the Jefferson County Jail.